Hey good people, and welcome back to the channel. In a few moments, I'll be sharing my thoughts and feelings on the season premiere of Naked and Afraid: Last One Standing. And because the show was already aired several weeks ago, I will just be sharing my thoughts on the concept of the show, the team members, and I'll give my predictions for the show going forward. So without any further delay, let's jump right in. Now, when I first heard about the concept of the show, I immediately thought it would come off as the show Survivor, but with naked people. But learning that the cast members would have to work together as a team for 21 days, then break off to compete in elimination challenges, somewhat raises the stakes for the usual Naked and Afraid challenges. If anything, I wondered what took Naked and Afraid so long to come up with a show like this. After all of the drama that we've seen between survivalists during the regular episodes, it only seemed natural to play off that drama and create something completely new. Now, I think that the interesting wrinkle for this challenge is that both cast members will be eliminated if one taps out. However, if cast members are medically tapped out, then their teammates are safe from elimination. In my opinion, this twist of sorts is kinda dumb, and it's a little unfair to punish both survivalists if one no longer wants to participate in the challenge. But outside of that, I've liked what I've seen thus far from the challenge. Now let's talk about the teams, and I want to start with who I feel is the strongest team and go down from there. And keep in mind that after posting this review, I have not seen any other episodes for the season, and I haven't read any spoilers. But I think the strongest team from the first episode is clearly Jeff and Stacy. I admire their plan to go after the survival items instead of focusing on building the shelter first. Their plan paid off tremendously, and in my opinion, the show just proves that a cast member like Jeff is playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers. Some folks may not care for Jeff's cutthroat nature, but it seems like he's one of the few cast members that acknowledges that this show is a competition and money is on the line. I think the only weakness that this team has is that Stacy is not a big fan of Jeff and his antics, and sometimes they bump heads on which tasks should take priority for the team. Nevertheless, I expect these two to make it to the 21-day mark and far beyond. Next, there's Waz and Gary. From what I've seen thus far, Waz and Gary have the best chemistry among the teams. They work well together, and they carry their own weight pretty well. I admire how Waz and Gary work well together to get the bows and arrows from the poisonous tree, though I didn't know how useful the bow and arrow will be in this challenge, if the surrounding area isn't flooded with animals to hunt, and if the show is already providing food for contestants to find. So far, I think that this team's only weakness is they're willing to help the other groups. Now, I know that Waz is a nice and kind-hearted person, but at the end of the day, this is a competition for money, and by helping the other teams reach the 21-day mark, he is essentially helping his competition potentially be the last one standing. And in my opinion, if you're going to be in the middle of nowhere, butterball naked, and with harsh weather, competing for the chance to win a lot of money, then there's only so much room for being nice and kind in a competition like this. Next up, there's Sarah and Steven. Now, I haven't followed Steven in past Naked and Afraid challenges, but I have followed Sarah, and I wasn't too impressed with how she worked in the team setting, especially during Naked and Afraid Frozen. Nevertheless, I admired the work that they did in building their shelter, and I admire how Sarah had the awareness to find the Impala before Jeff, Waz, and Gary did. I think that in a challenge like this, Sarah will go far because she recognizes that this is a challenge, and I also believe that Sarah was playing the long game when she offered the Impala to all the survivalists. I think that Sarah is more focused on building alliances until it's time to be the last person standing. I'm still trying to get a good read on Steven, but I don't see any obstacles with him or Sarah making it to the 21-day mark. Next up, there's Gwen and Matt. Now, it was pretty sad to see Gwen get a medical tap out, but I didn't have much faith that she and Matt were in the circle of the strongest teams for the season. They didn't get any of the advanced survival items, and they relied on the stronger teams for food. I think that with Gwen gone, Matt has what it takes to make it to the 21 days and beyond, but I think that he will have to form an alliance with some of the other groups to make his remaining time during the first 21 days less stressful. Next, there's Dan and Cheney. Now, from what I saw during the first episode, I initially thought that they would be in the discussion for the strongest teams on the show. But Cheney deciding to prioritize building a shelter over getting the advanced survival items proved costly because she has issues with dealing with the cold weather. I don't doubt Cheney's toughness as a competitor on these Naked and Afraid challenges, but if the cold weather is going to be a negative impact on her, then I think she'll be the most likely person to tap out next on the challenge, whether it be voluntary or medical. And I believe that Dan will make it past the first 21 days with or without Cheney. And finally, there's Amber and Wes. As much as I respect and like watching Amber and Wes together, I thought that they were the weakest team on the show, and I say that as respectfully as I possibly can. I know that these challenges are not easy for anyone, and I definitely don't want to pretend like I would make it 21 days without clothes, TV, internet, or Chick-fil-A. But I've seen Wes tap out or come close to tapping out on several Naked and Afraid challenges. And with Amber having to medically tap out, I don't think that Wes will make it far if he lasts the 21-day stretch. But these are just my opinions, and like I previously stated, I haven't seen any of the other episodes for the season yet. But because I'm behind on those episodes, it'll be my plan to post reviews for the episodes within the next week or so, and hopefully catch up by the following Sunday. But this marks the end of my review. If you have any questions or comments related to my review or the episode, feel free to comment below in the comment section, and I'll be sure to reply to everybody. Until next time, stay good, stay ready, and stay tuned. Peace.